I'm Allison, this is Wonder Crochet. It's been about 6 months since my last Q&A video, and many of you have been asking for an updated one. So I posted a question box on Instagram, Patreon, and on here, and asked you all to post your questions, whether they're crochet related or not, just as kind of a get to know me. I like to do these every so often because we always have new friends here. It's always nice to check in and answer some commonly asked questions. Now I'm going to try to do some new questions this time than the ones that I got last time. So if you were hoping for a specific question to be answered, go check out the other Q&As on my channel. You'll probably find what you're looking for there. But you all had some wonderful questions for me, so I'm very excited to hop into this so we can get to know each other a little bit better. We'll start out with a few questions that I get pretty frequently, so these may be a repeat from last time, but hopefully I'll have a little bit newer of an answer. So this question is, what is the favorite pattern that you've designed, and what's your favorite plushie that you've made? This is such a difficult one because I feel like picking a favorite pattern is almost like picking a favorite child. It's not that dramatic, but anytime that I'm asked this question, I usually say my fairy pattern because it is one of my favorites, and it was the first doll pattern that I designed. Now I have, let me peek over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Four or five different doll patterns, so it kind of kicked off everything in that realm, and dolls have become one of my favorite things to crochet. But the fairy pattern, it's just, it really is one of my favorites. However, one of my patterns that is, maybe I'll say this next one is the favorite plushie that I've made, but it might also be one of my favorite patterns, is my mix and match puppy pattern. I had it in my head what I wanted to do for a puppy pattern for years, and I just couldn't exactly grasp how I wanted to make it because I wanted it to be low sew. I wanted him to be sitting like this, and I wanted it to be easy to mix and match to make different puppies by just like changing the yarn colors, changing the ears, the snout, and I finally designed exactly what I wanted to. I love, love, love how it turned out. And I can't say that about every pattern, but you know, that's just how it goes. So the puppy pattern and the fairy pattern are probably tied for first right now, but the puppies are my favorite type of plush to make. I like making the kittens too, but I don't know, there's something about the puppies. I've made like 7 of them at this point, and I just want to keep making more. I also get this next question a lot. If you already know how to crochet or you watch my YouTube channel, you know exactly what I'm gonna say. But this question is, how and where do you start to crochet? So if you want to learn how to crochet, where should you start? You can always learn from someone in your life. If you have maybe a grandparent or someone in your family who knows how to crochet, I think that that's the best place, honestly. It being passed down through family is so, so fun to me. But if you don't have someone in your life that can teach you, or if you don't have access to local classes or anything like that, I have a Learn How to Crochet course. I promise this isn't just all promo. It's very easy to learn by taking my course. Thousands of crocheters have learned how to crochet, especially plushies, that way. Because it's very step-by-step, and you'll learn how to read crochet patterns. And I know a lot of people learn on YouTube as well, but it's hard as a beginner to navigate and know exactly what to learn and what you should learn next. And I feel like a lot is missed because you don't know what to search for, So I'll link it in the video description. It's a great way to learn. It's a great place to start. Not to toot my own horn, but here we are. And then this question I get asked a lot. I'll do the basic ones first, and then I'll jump into some of the more unique questions. When did you start crocheting? How long have you been crocheting for? What made you decide to start your business? And is your business your full-time job? So I started crocheting in December of 2019. So it was right before COVID hit. And honestly, I was living alone at the time during COVID, and I was just kind of looking for more stuff to do. Something that I could do that would be productive. I could work with my hands, something that just kind of brought me joy. And once I started learning crochet, that was it. And I didn't know that it would become what it is now, which has been such a blessing, but I've always known that I wanted to have an online business. So before crochet, I worked in marketing. So I went to college for marketing, and I worked in corporate marketing, and I just knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Not that I don't do a lot of marketing now, but marketing yourself is so much different than marketing someone else's business, if that makes sense. So I knew that I wanted to have my own business, and I actually started several different online businesses. I had like a hiking and adventure blog, and I actually started my own marketing agency, but those different ventures just weren't never really it until I found crochet. And when I started crocheting, I knew immediately that I wanted to do this forever. So it's really a blessing, and thank you to all of you that I get to do this. It is my full-time job now, so thank you so much. And it honestly just happened organically. I started selling crochet plushies here and there to people locally, and then I started making Animal Crossing plushies, and I was actually doing custom orders for Animal Crossing characters, and that was a ton of fun. That's kind of where my business took off, because I started creating crochet patterns for those, and then once I started selling patterns, it kind of just snowballed from there. I started YouTube, and yeah, history ever since. So I've been crocheting for about 5 years now. Okay, our next question. How did you design your own merch, and how can I design my own merch? I love that. I have crocheting animal merch, and I actually was able to hire a very talented artist to draw all of my crochet animal characters. I had the vision in my head of what I wanted. If you saw my axolotl video, I tried to draw like digitally. I'm not that good at it, so I wanted to hire a professional to be able to create all of these cute little crocheting animals. And then I actually use a print-on-demand company. So to get my images to be like the right size and everything, and to get the right look for my merch, I actually use Kittl. And if you haven't heard of Kittl, it's an amazing design platform where you can create your own merch using Kittl, and you can also really level up the design for your business if you are building a small business or crochet business. So whether you want to make your own custom logo or you want to make your own merch, you can easily do that with Kittl's design platform. Kittl makes it super easy to create professional, print-ready designs. I can add adorable fonts, textured backgrounds, and even preview everything on real mock-ups before I order anything. And I just love their new vector tools. I can actually fine-tune my own illustrations, adjust lines, curves, and shapes right in Kittl. So my little crochet critters look perfect on every product. No more bouncing between apps, it's all in one place. So if you want to turn your art or crochet creations into your own merch, I would definitely check out Kittl. You can try it for free at the link below, or check out their premium plan for even more features. It's such a great design tool, and I can't imagine creating merch without it. So thank you so much to Kittl for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back into your questions. So how do you deal with crochet burnout? How do you deal with burnout? This is a good question. So if we're talking about like losing your crochet mojo, like not really wanting to crochet anything, I found that you can't force yourself. You know, you have to leave it alone. Maybe go do something else, maybe do a different hobby. I learned how to knit this year, so it's always nice to have like a handmade fiber art, different hobby that I can do that's not my business. And I found that really any type of cozy hobby, whether that's like coloring or gaming, if I'm able to spend a little bit of time doing that, or you know, even going outside, going for a hike, just spending time away from whatever I'm doing, away from my craft space, that helps me to be able to create more. And especially with coming up with new crochet patterns, sometimes I just have no ideas at all. Sometimes I have a bunch of ideas all at once, but as soon as I step away from everything and, you know, kind of take a breath, and I don't put pressure on myself to get things done, and to think of a new idea or think of something new that I want to crochet, then the ideas kind of come to me, and you know, that motivation definitely comes back. If you force yourself to crochet, it's just it's difficult. It's difficult as something creative. You know, your mind needs that space to be able to think of new ideas and to be able to want to crochet more. If we're talking about like burnout in general, like physical burnout for your body, I don't know if I've talked about this on here, but I actually dealt with some pretty serious burnout that ended me in the hospital. I was working my full-time job, which was very demanding, and then I was also trying to build up Wonder Crochet into my full-time job, and then, you know, just everything else in life as well. And I was not taking care of myself. I was definitely putting work first before my health. And I can't tell you how long it took me to heal from that, to like get to that point where it was that bad. So I'm telling you now to take breaks. I know it's difficult with crochet and, you know, with work, any type of work that you do, work and family, and just having so much to do, but taking breaks for yourself, even just being able to take an hour and just lay down, read a book if you're able to, will do so much for your burnout. And you don't want to wait until it's too late, because it does take such a long time for your body to heal from just, you know, total burnout. So this is your friendly reminder to take a breath, relax, and to give yourself some grace. I know so many of us work so hard on everything that we do, and just remember that you are absolutely doing enough. You are, I'm sure, doing more than enough. Just take some time for yourself and do some relaxing hobbies that you like to do that are not monetized, just to give your brain and your body a break. Now this next one is just a fun question. If you could have any animal as your very own pet, what would you choose? I like this question because you know how much I love animals, and I have pretty much every animal crocheted in here. If we weren't talking about like legal pets to own and pets that I would actually own, I would choose a monkey. I've always wanted, since I was little, a monkey to live in my house, which I know would be complete chaos, but I had this little monkey growing up that I got at the toy store when I was little. His name was Monk, and he had a little diaper on and like a little pacifier. I thought it was the cutest thing, and I've always wanted a monkey. But I know that that's not ethical, so if we're talking real animals that you can actually have as pets, I can't wait to get a puppy. I know I've been saying this for years, but you know, we've been struggling to look for a house for years. So when that does happen, I would love a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. That's my dream pet, my dream puppy. I'm really hoping that we can adopt one, so when the right time comes, we'll see. Well, this one is a fun one too. What other cozy hobbies do you enjoy? All of them? No, I, of course, love crocheting, although it's become not so much a hobby now. I have been enjoying knitting, but I'll be honest, I'm not very good at it yet, so I don't do that one as much. I like gaming too. Like, I really like Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, of course. I've been playing a lot of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I've kind of always been like a cozy gamer. I like how there's like a name for it now. I used to play a lot of online games when I was younger. Like, I used to play Neopets and Habbo Hotel. I'm really dating myself here. And Club Penguin, that was another one. I loved those types of games. I really enjoyed playing games on Switch. And Mr. Wonder Crochet and I, right now we're playing Donkey Kong Island Freeze, I think it's called. And we have to be like in a certain mood to play it because it's so difficult. Like, it's way too difficult for a Donkey Kong game. But yeah, I really like that. Coloring, you know, that kind of stuff. If tea counts as a hobby, maybe like herbalism, is that a hobby? Because that's probably my top favorite. This one is, what did you do before crochet, and does Mr. Wonder Crochet have hobbies too? I got so many questions about him. Before I did crochet, I mentioned before, I did marketing. I worked in the corporate world. I've had many different jobs throughout, you know, high school, college, and then a little bit after. I've done a lot of things, but mostly it was in marketing. I worked at a botanic garden at one point. I worked in events. And then a fun one that I actually did during high school is I used to work on movie sets, and that was always my like fun fact about me. I interned at a casting agency, and then I was able to be a production assistant on some films, and I was an extra in some stuff. So that was a lot of fun. If I could go back to any job or any point, I would think I was like 17, 18 then? I had to have been 18 already when I started doing that. That was a ton of fun. Made a lot of nice friends doing that too. Oh, and does Mr. Wonder Crochet have hobbies? Yes, of course. What is he going to do while I'm crocheting? He's a gamer. So we both enjoy like hiking and doing stuff outside together, but if we're doing like hobbies inside, I'm crocheting. He's definitely a gamer. He's a PC gamer. and we'll play some games together too. And then we both read. I can't believe I didn't mention that earlier. I really enjoy reading. If I wish that I had more time for it, and I think that I need to do more audiobooks so I can listen while I crochet. But yeah, reading is a lot of fun. And then this next one, since we're talking about Mr. Wonder Crochet, how long did it take you to establish your business, and does your husband support you for doing your business, and would we ever get to meet him? If you look in some of my videos, you can kind of see him like in the background or like helping me with stuff. He's a private person, so I don't know if he'll ever come on the channel. We might have to convince him, but no, he's shy and he is definitely more private, so we have very opposite personalities, but I think that's why we work so well. Oh, and he's very, very supportive of my business, and yeah, he helps me out as much as he can, and except he won't learn how to crochet. No, I'm just kidding. I tried to teach him how to crochet and it just wasn't his thing, which is completely fine. But yes, he's very, very supportive. And how long did it take me to establish my business? I don't know, establish, I'm not sure what signifies that. For me to be able to do it full time, it took several years of doing it part-time and creating patterns and just kind of building it up and building up my different socials and YouTube, of course. So it took several years of doing that while also working full-time jobs along with that. So I'd say about several years, but to start like a business, just to start it and start selling stuff, I honestly started doing that almost immediately. I probably should have waited a little bit longer. I don't know if my stuff was really good enough to sell it, but I had the determination and I did it. So I started selling plushies almost immediately when I was learning how to crochet. Crochet was a hobby, like a non-monetized hobby, for a very short period of time for me. It was a fun period of time, but I really started posting on TikTok and everything, because TikTok was really becoming big then, like in 2020. Like immediately. And I do get this next question a lot. How do I come up with pattern ideas? And how long did it take me to design my first pattern? Pattern ideas really just come from anywhere, any type of inspiration. Honestly, I'll just be like washing my hands and something random will pop into my head, or like taking a shower and ideas pop up, or I'll see something in the real world that kind of inspires me to make those things. I like to make a lot of animals, things from nature. I've been making more like mythical creatures lately, and I think that once I start to make something, then it inspires something else. So like when I made my mix and match puppy pattern, I knew I wanted to make a body shape that was similar to that for a kitten pattern. Things inspire different things. Like I made my woodland trolls pattern, and I have no idea what made me think of making that, but that inspired my magic troll. So, you know, things inspire different things, but for the most part I get my ideas from nature and things that are already out in the world, if that makes sense. And how long did it take me to design my first pattern? Just like I started selling plushies almost immediately, I designed a pattern almost immediately. It was way too early. It wasn't designed well. I wouldn't recommend it, but again, I was just really determined and I just really wanted to do it. I had this tiny little, I'll pop in a picture, I did this in the last Q&A, this tiny little Billie Eilish doll that just happened to go viral on TikTok. She was really big at the time, not that she's not now, but that was like her prime, with like the green and black hair. And so many people in that video asked for a pattern, so that's when I designed one, because I knew that other people wanted it. It probably wasn't designed, actually I know it wasn't designed that well, but it was also a pretty simple pattern. So I started designing patterns like pretty, I don't know, a couple months into learning how to crochet. Again, would not recommend it. I've scrapped all the patterns that I designed from that whole year because they're just not up to pattern standards now. Up to my pattern standards now. But yeah, again, I just really went for it. Okay, I have a few more questions to answer. This person actually asked 3 questions. How do you stay motivated / avoid burnout? I talked about that before. Would you ever do a tutorial on using a cutting machine for felt details? Yes. You can kind of see a tutorial for that when I designed my Magic Troll sweater, where I cut out the fabric and everything and sewed it on. So if you haven't watched that video, definitely check that out. If you want like a more in-depth tutorial, then I can absolutely do that. Just let me know what you want me to design or what you want me to show how to cut, like felt eyes or felt details for like one of my Animal Crossing plushies. Just let me know what you want to see and I can definitely do that. And then, do you have any upcoming designs that are planned with worsted or DK weight yarns? So all my designs actually work very well in worsted weight yarn. Parfait Chunky is a much smaller size 6 yarn. I don't even think it should be a size 6 yarn. It should be a size 5, to be honest. So the things that I design work well with worsted weight yarn. So you can definitely follow the pattern if you use worsted weight yarn. I always have one of my testers test each pattern in worsted weight yarn to make sure that it works, so you don't have to worry about that. So you can make any of my patterns in worsted weight yarn. As far as like blanket yarns go, that's actually a little bit more difficult. They can look really great, but they are much bigger just because blanket yarn, especially burnout blanket, is such a huge bulky yarn. If people do make my patterns in different yarns, it will obviously just look a little bit different. Tips on people starting their business and how to come up with a good name. And do you think that selling plushies is better or selling patterns? Tips on people starting their business. I feel like I should make a whole video out of this. Let me know if you want one, but I would definitely just improve your craft as much as you can before you start selling plushies. You really want to have like a good product to sell, and there is so much competition out there, and I think that's a great thing. I think it's wonderful how much crochet has grown, but you want to make sure that you're proud of the things that you're selling, you know, that you practice and practice as much as you can to really get good at crochet. Tips on choosing a name. I would really just choose something that makes you happy, something that brings you joy. Decided on Wonder Crochet because I really resonated with Alice in Wonderland, and that's one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite stories. So I just took the wonder and Wonder Crochet. It was pretty simple, and I think sometimes, like, should I have done a different name? You know, just choose something that you'll enjoy and that you'll look at and you'll feel excited about. And it's nice to have like a keyword in there like crochet, but if you plan to branch out into other things, then I would keep it more simple, like with designs or something like that. And do you think selling plushies is better or selling patterns? That's a hard one. That's a hard one. So it can take a while to be comfortable writing patterns. If that's something that you're already comfortable with, and then absolutely go for it. I know a lot of people struggle with designing patterns, and some people just aren't comfortable designing patterns at all, and that's completely fine. It's whatever you're comfortable with, honestly. If you enjoy making plushies and selling them and going to markets and doing things like that, then I think that's wonderful. If you feel comfortable designing patterns and you feel like you can really bring something to the table that's you know, your own unique style and your own unique ideas, then absolutely go for it. But just practice as much as you can, and you'll kind of see your lane. I think a lot of people start out by selling plushies and then maybe go into selling patterns. Some people don't sell plushies and some people don't sell patterns at all. So it's really up to you and what you feel comfortable with and what you enjoy. And that was all the questions that we had. I really enjoyed doing this Q&A. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer them all. And I really enjoy doing these with you because it's just fun to answer, you know, all the questions that I get pretty often, and some fun ones as well. If you don't already, give me a follow over on my Instagram. Thank you so much to Kittle for sponsoring today's video. As always, we'll see you again real soon.